live, fam.
Right.
Live.
Hey, yo, what's up? What's poppin'? How y'all on today? Whew, let me tell y'all something. It's been a long day today. Long day. Mr. Mays,
Hey,
look
how
at
you
here.
doing? What is it? Afternoon, evening?
Yeah,
It could be evening.
I got Amazing Mays with me.
Hey,
How you
that's what
feeling
they
on
used to
today?
call me.
That what they used to call you?
When I played ball at Michigan State, I wasn't Spartan. I didn't get
Yeah.
into no brawls. But, I was a walk-on,
Yeah.
walk-on wide receiver.
Yeah.
People don't know that.
No, you know what? You
I
got
walked
you got
away
to
from the
receive it.
game at the height of my career.
Did
Yeah.
no kidding.
Coach called me and I say I ain't even going to the meeting. I think he was going to play me, Coach Muddy Waters, but my grades had dropped. I wanted to finish up and I walked away.
Wow.
But I had walked on and
Walked on and walked off.
yeah, I wanted to be a running back, but they had
You
me
did?
at defensive back and wide
Yeah.
receiver. We had a good team. We went to the Rose Bowl, but the people before us recruiting violations. I'm in the dorm with Magic Johnson,
Yeah.
Greg Kelson, them, my friend.
Uh-huh.
We had a good time.
You want to be a running back?
I
You
was
look
a
tall.
natural running
You
back.
look tall for a
I
running back.
would be bobbing and weaving.
Oh,
I was
you were
natural.
shifty.
I
Okay.
remember in the 7th grade, the highlight of my career.
Yeah.
Guess who I beat?
Who you beat?
The score 2 touchdowns. Guess who scored both touchdowns?
You did that.
Against Beecher Mount Morris.
What?
Beat Beecher. Can you believe it? Now, what you humming about? I'm telling you, Mickey, that's true. Kenny McCarthy and them was Beecher and Marvin Moore. I come on with Mount Morris, about 3 black and the rest white. Did a calisthenics, scored 2 touchdowns, won the game, got back on the bus. I used to be a Buccaneer before I was a Panther.
Now that I
went
did
to
know.
Beecher,
Yeah, I did know that.
Brian
But you
Ryan.
you got to build like a receiver.
Well, yeah, I used to be pumped up. My neck was thick.
Yeah.
We lifting weights.
Right.
Now I'm 64 years old.
Yeah.
Whole different deal.
But you can still see the receiver in you though.
You think I can catch it?
Hell yeah.
It is what it is.
Listen, when you got soft hands, you just got soft hands. Ain't nothing nobody can do with that.
Well, my highlight was the green and white game.
Right.
I looked up there and seen this girl I know watching. I had to catch that
now.
ball. I had
See,
to catch
that be the thing
ball.
right there. Y'all hear that? He saw a girl in the stands and showed his natural
I
ass.
had to catch that ball. They lucky they didn't go to me on the last play.
Yeah. How y'all out there? How y'all feeling? Y'all all right? Hey, Kathleen. Hey, Brenda. Hey, y'all. It's more in there, RMC.
Oh, Michigan State nostalgia. They didn't know Councilman used to be a ball
They
player.
didn't know it. I knew it.
You knew it?
I knew it. They didn't know it. I knew it.
Basketball, football.
Yeah. I heard you still got little skills,
I ain't gonna try them out right now.
I feel it.
64 years old, can you believe it?
That's a blessing.
From my 19 and 20 and 21.
Yeah.
64.
That's a blessing.
That's way back there in the day.
Hey, listen, some people don't live to tell that story.
Well, I enjoyed it. I had flashbacks.
Absolutely.
Mickey was talking about that Michigan game, the brawl that happened. That's what made us come on talking about that. A little unfortunate.
It was
but
very
we'll see
much
what
so.
happens. I don't condone violence
At all.
I look at Nancy Pelosi's husband and the break-in at her house. I look at what happened to me with the Neely administration and his deputy chief of staff, and I had to go to Early Hospital. But when I listen to President Biden and everybody talking about they don't condone violence and zero tolerance, I kind of felt bad because it happened to me in Flint, and it's been covered up and buried. And I thought that was awful that Mr. Neely would do a press release about it. The state police asked, they called me, they wanted that deputy deputy chief of staff picked up on a warrant. Um, I believe a hump on my back now as a result of being slammed to the floor.
Mm.
And it was real violence. But I guess, you know, people talk about me a lot, but black lives and black politicians sometimes don't matter like other folks.
And that's
And
very unfortunate.
that's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway,
Yeah.
we're still alive and well.
Absolutely.
And we kicking.
That's right. Yeah, we here to tell the story.
Yeah, but that story needs to be told. There's a lot
Absolutely.
of cover-ups.
Yeah.
That was a cover-up
Yeah.
under this administration, deputy chief of staff. It came to a head when he went to fight on state police.
Man.
But at the same time, you know, I know about the cover up as it relates to the fire department, and
Yeah.
I'm calling it a cover up. These are
Absolutely.
my words.
Mm-hmm.
When you have things happening,
Yeah.
people shut down discipline in order things not to happen, and the person that's giving the order is at the helm. The police chase on Pearson Road,
Oh, my
fatality.
goodness gracious. Yes.
I call it a cover up because whenever you do an investigation with an officer involved, election or no election, somebody should be suspended with or without pay until that investigation is done. So I'm not going to condone all of these things that I see happening
Mm-hmm.
under this mayor and the administration and the department heads, even though I take my hat off to the fire chief for standing his
up.
ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you've got some weak department heads
Absolutely.
in the legal department.
Mm-hmm.
Attorney Kim, you've got Whittaker refusing to show up for meetings financially. And I mean, we're a week away from the election.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, I'm praying and hoping that some of this corruption and deceit and trickery
Mm-hmm.
is cleaned out.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of tough being a councilman when you got all those department heads,
Phew.
direction of the mayor, deceit and trickery.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see all these commercials and, you know, things fooling people.
Yeah.
The average person don't know what we know behind the scenes. Look at these transcripts I brought in. This was the transcripts from the.
I had to make sure this wasn't your ballot so
nah,
I could
this-
touch it.
you can touch
listen.
these.
I had to make sure.
This is in the Court of Appeals right now.
These are
Yeah, the presidency of the Flint City Council.
from when they
These are the
lawlessly put you
transcripts.
out.
Yeah, when we were in circuit court.
Yeah.
And circuit court ruled
Uh-huh.
that the president wasn't an elected position.
Yeah.
It's in fact elected based upon the charter. So we had to order the transcripts.
Uh-huh.
Now I got to do my
Now you
brief.
gotta.
And once I file my brief in the next 15 days,
Mhm.
hopefully the Court of Appeals will send it back down. And, you know, we can prove that we knew what we was talking about.
Yeah.
We can prove that when we signed up to run for mayor, all of the mess started
Mm-hmm.
as it relates to president of the Flint City Council. And so I just kind of brought these to flash them
I'm
up
glad you
to
did.
let people know that even though sometimes you don't see the public fights, they go on behind the scenes.
With
I
that being
shouldn't even
said,
have to represent myself. I done dumped a
shouldn't.
lot of money into this
you
thing.
shouldn't. But let me ask you something. I just want to go back and first let me say this. We had a loss in the family, right, Meg? We had a loss in the family. Trevor lost his father.
Yes, you do.
Trevor lost his father last night or early this morning. So we want to send our deepest and sincerest condolences out to Trevor Berryhill and the whole Berryhill family for the loss of my friend Marty Berryhill.
My condolences.
So our prayers and our thoughts are with the Berryhill family. Secondly, our thoughts and our prayers are also going out to these families that you spoke of, the two children that lost their lives in the fire and the young man that lost his life in the police chase. I know people are saying allegedly and all that, but hey, a chase is a chase. I don't care how you spin it. Right.
Yeah, my condolences to
Yeah.
all of the
So
bereaved families.
our deepest and sincerest condolences go out. I have a question as it relates to that and how you feel about that because I definitely feel a way and I feel a way as a mother. I feel a way as a mother of sons, and you are a father. You are a father of a son, and when it came to that vote on council and those folks walked out, especially the councilwoman who is the mother of a black son. I I really I was so livid at that because I just felt like how could you walk out on these mothers that are just crying out? They only want no, that lady. She don't want the money. She just wants justice for her son. She don't want any money.
Well,
What is the problem?
money goes along with it. And so,
Absolutely.
you know, you can't bring the son back, but, you know, if there's something that went wrong and the city is liable,
Mm.
there's nothing wrong with compensation,
Of course.
whether it's the water crisis lawsuit or a alleged police chase
Yeah.
or death. Even in the fire case,
Correct.
there's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that. You know, the city settled a lot of lawsuits on an
Yes.
annual basis, but this isn't the first time that that group of council persons have walked out and broke the quorum.
Absolutely not.
On the agenda that particular night also was the ARPA funds,
Hmm.
millions of dollars that we're trying to get into the residents' hands
Hmm.
for a variety of things that they've turned in requests for.
Yeah.
Um, when you look at the people who walked out of that meeting, and it was Quincy Murphy, Liddell Lewis, even Priestley, and then you look at who was absent, Piper and Eva Worthy. This is a group of people who uh, knew for the most part with the outrageous lack of attendance that Worthing displays, you know,
Outrageous.
she's new as far as learning and knowing what's going on.
Hmm.
But when we had worked for months to have a special meeting, I had articulated a special meeting. Had I stayed president, um, a lot of stuff would already be done. Agendas would be set, but they do that on purpose. They walk out, break the quorum, and then you hear these same council people whine as to why stuff can't get done.
Yeah.
And what trips me out is the mainstream news media
Hmm.
goes to them.
Yeah.
Mr. Neely runs with them.
Hmm.
And so I think that the people can see from looking who's serious, who's a little ignorant
Yeah.
as it relates to the city
Yeah.
business, and you should be guilty by association. I looked at the news the other day, and I seen the Buick City site, even though it's not complete. I believe it's going to be um, completed, but this Ashley Capital is going to invest 300 million. They chose that site. We have some prime real estate in Flint, the Buick City site, the AC Sparkbrook site on Dordt Highway, and they chose that site in order to try to develop it 300 million,
Right.
3,000 jobs.
Hmm.
And I looked at that press conference and I said, Lord have mercy, because look who Mr. Neely picked to stand by and speak. It was some of the folk that walked out of the business
Yes, it
meeting.
was.
It was Mr. Murphy, but they be instructed.
Yeah.
They be getting texts, you know, telling them when to leave, what to say, and what to do. The same group of people who shouldn't probably even be elected. They had illegal literature mailed out on their behalf 2, 3 weeks before the election. Some of them won by 75 votes, 50 votes, and we know who mailed the literature
Hmm.
out and where it come from.
Right.
People owe people in politics. That's why we're a week away from this major election.
Absolutely.
I ask people when they get their ballot Um, Look on the front page, the bottom corner, and you'll see the mayor's race. Now that's an important race to me.
Very much so.
I'll be voting Weaver to try to get some stability,
Yeah.
character, and honesty back into the mayor's seat. Because when you look at what I've seen over the last 3 years, I talked about on another show, Gleason.
Yeah.
Gleason, the chief election officer for Genesee County,
Mm-hmm.
he had to resign. He was forced to
Right.
resign in a
Yeah.
criminal proceeding.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot run for office in the plea deal anymore because of illegal activity with a marriage license.
Yeah.
But I always say the activity in the election that he did was more criminal,
Mm-hmm.
had a broader effect
Yeah.
than the marriage license. I
Right.
don't take away the legality of the marriage license, but when him and Neely held that press conference 3 years ago,
Yeah.
it was probably a week or two before the election. It's all recorded. They had that black lady sitting between them, and they made the outrageous claims in Gleason's office.
Right.
That's what made it illegal.
Yeah.
He used his office to interfere
Interfere
with the mayor's election, and he didn't do it by himself. He conspired in agreement illegally with Mr. Neely, and
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Neely won that election
Mm-hmm.
over Weaver by
Yeah.
200 votes.
Right.
That's 100 vote swing.
Yeah.
If you can fool people by using your office illegally and say absentee ballots was being passed out illegally when they wasn't, and you're the chief election officer and you're a candidate,
Yeah.
such as Neely was, want to win that bad that he would conspire with that crook and crookedness to win. He had 3 years in that office,
Mm-hmm.
steady lying and deceiving people, not only with the degree information, you ain't really had a
The
degree,
water
but
being clean.
the policy, what you
Mhm.
did and didn't do. You've done a lot of keys to the city and
Yeah.
statute,
Yeah.
but policy and allocation of funds, no. We should have stood as a community when that conviction came down with
Agreed.
Gleason. We should have stood as a community, Black Lives Matter, the NAACP, elected officials, and we should have asked for Neely's resignation a
Mhm.
week or two ago when
Yeah.
that conviction came down.
Absolutely.
We should have made the mainstream media highlight that illegal press conference, which stole that
Absolutely.
election 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And so that's why now I'm praying 3 years later that the residents can
Mhm.
learn the truth.
Yeah.
They can learn who's who. Character matters. We've been through a lot of mess these last 3 years.
Yes, we have.
And so I don't know how it'll turn out. I don't know how many people he's fooled, how many he'll continue to fool, but I know it'll be enough people go to the polls, even though you've had over 8,000 absentee ballots mailed out.
Yeah.
More than half of them are in. You still have enough people out there to affect the outcome of this election.
Absolutely.
And so, as we do probably what this last show prior to the election, I'm praying and hoping that people catch on. You know, I'm not upset with nothing but the truth not getting out.
Absolutely.
It's frustrating in
Absolutely
all these
it is.
instances when the truth can't get out and then people spin it. Oh, Mays is just this, or Mays is just that, or Satara is just this.
Mhm.
But when the truth inches its way out, it makes a difference.
Absolutely.
So I'm hoping that the remaining people who still have to vote, a lot of the votes are in,
Mhm.
and some stuff didn't happen, in a timely manner. The people who voted early, they didn't know Gleason would be convicted.
Right.
They hadn't connected the dots
Right.
of how that election was barely won
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
3 years ago. But there's enough people left
Yeah.
to change the outcome. Because when you look at these two elections, 200 votes, Weaver lost to Neely based upon the crookedness and the deception with Gleason and Neely. Then in the primary, I was in the primary. I'm proud of my 1,100 votes,
Absolutely.
but when you add those 1,100 with Weaver's votes, that's 5,100 to his 4,900. It's a possibility that the arithmetic might add up.
Yeah.
That the people, like Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes, I was listening to that over here. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. You know that's not the one I was listening to. It's on the same album.
Okay.
But I'm hoping people wake up.
Yeah.
And we got to make a change, just me and you.
Absolutely.
The word have to spread. I'm going to be really depressed on swearing in day if I have to sit there and look at corruption being sworn in one more time.
Answer me this. Let's talk about that. So swearing in, why was the charter changed to say that the mayor can't get in her seat until the governor is in?
Well, there's a lot of foolishness and changes in that charter that shouldn't have been made. And we have an opportunity to change them back. You can change them by petition, or you can change them by the city council, the majority putting stuff on the ballot. The one you're referring to, under the old charter, the next Monday, the mayor of the city of Flint would be sworn in. Under this new charter, it says that whoever wins mayor can't be sworn in until such time that the governor's election is certified. If you look under the old charter, the mayor's race, city council race, it wasn't on the ballot with the governor and congressman. It was a separate ballot. And I liked it that way.
Yeah.
That means we had a chance to intimately look at our mayor's race.
More meat on the bone.
Yeah, but now when you got it mixed with congressmen and governors, a lot get lost.
Yeah.
And you get a whole lot of mail-in and confusion.
Yeah.
I was on my way over here and I looked at them kill these signs and them jung. It's young, but I just say jung because it's JUNGE or something. And I was looking at them as you get on the expressway. I'm looking at them at every corner, and it's illegal. I don't care if it is Congress people.
Because it's by the street.
Yeah, you have to take time and put them in folks' yard and not doors. That's the hard way of campaign. Yeah. It's easy to tell campaign workers or to allow your campaign workers
put them on the corner.
Just to put them everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's illegal under city law. That's why I made an issue when I seen Mr. Neely's sign out there with Kill D and Young Them. I mean, they are sworn to uphold the law.
Yeah.
The majority of the people don't even know that's a violation.
Right.
They just see them. And what they're doing is advertising well. But they are sworn elected officials. They should be instructing their workers to put them in folks' yard, not in the public right of way. When I campaign, it's a job. Knocking doors. Hi, my name is Eric Mays. I put a yard sign up. But just to ride around and stick them everywhere in that illegal way is another form of deception and corruption that I don't agree with. And I don't care who it is.
It's easy to do that, right?
It's easier to do that than to knock doors and get permission. That's why they call
the hard work. Get
yard signs. They don't call them on the corner by stop signs. But people are desperate. They want to advertise themselves. They figure in a tight race. They want to cheat.
Yeah.
It's another form of cheating in order to try to get your advertisement out.
Isn't it also for them to be campaigning from the office, like where?
Well, that's what I'm referring to with Gleason. It's illegal for me or any elected official to use their office to help another person campaign or to use your office to campaign. Yeah, and I've seen it, but the average person don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know they're being tricked and deceived and these things is happening. The process prosecutor, they seem to want to prosecute a marriage license
Yeah.
before they want to prosecute interference with I'm gonna just say majority black communities election. They don't want to prosecute when a black elected official is assaulted, beat up, and sent to the hospital. Um, they don't want to legally stand up when the presidency of the city council is wrongfully, procedurally removed in the middle of politics. And so we all we can do is turn to ourselves. We've got to educate people. We got to hope that organizations like the NAACP, Black Lives Matter, get more into these political things, because if they don't, we're just standing by idly, letting tricksters and deceivers take over the governance of our community, and that's problematic in the long run.
Why do you think some of those organizations have stepped back over the years? Because the NAACP was very prevalent in you know these type of things, election and politics and that. Why do you think that they stepped back over the years?
Well, I don't know sometimes if they know. I don't know if some of us who do know have filed the proper complaints. I don't know if we've kept our membership up like we should. I know I have not. And so sometimes some of that stuff don't get into the loop.
Okay.
That's just like those illegal mailings on behalf of city council members, Herkin Rhoda, Liddell Lewis, Quincy Murphy. In my best political opinion, had it not been for those financially spent illegally, we don't know where they came from, mailings, they wouldn't be on the council.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have some of the chaos. But we know who mailed out on their behalf. We believe that they came from the same printing company that Mr. Neely uses. You see a lot of mailings and a lot of stuff right now because of the state representative spot. When you deal with a lot of the lobbyists in Lansing, and you learn how to raise money, and I don't know if you get money under the table, over the table, on the side of the table, because we looked at the garbage contract. It was extra, maybe 9 million paid out more. When you look at even the Ashley Capital deal, as president of the city council, they came to me and they did put money into my campaign. The only contribution I took, I knew somewhere down the road it would come in handy to show that Ashley Capital came to the president of the council. They came to the president of the council at the time, it was me. They came to the mayor, and they went to the chairman of the Genesee County Board of Commissioners. And so when you got lobbyists and people with money zeroing in on those type of people in position, you can quickly learn how some of this stuff can happen and how the money flow. Even with the prosecutor and sheriff, when it comes to investigations, whoever's in that mayor's seat, and particularly if you're black, they want to be cool with you. They won't prosecute. There's favors and phone calls being made all the time. And that's why it's important for people to know, for people to catch on. And it's not just the NAACP and Black Lives Matters catching on to the intricacy of politics, but more importantly, the people. If the NAACP, Black Lives Matters got involved, and if the mainstream media covered it. Now, in the case where I got beat up, the president of Black Lives Matters, DeJuan Robinson, was with me. He interviewed with the state police. The mainstream media didn't pick up on it. The state police said, issue a warning, arrest this man. Black Lives Matter, the actual president, was with me and was a witness. And the mainstream media didn't pick up, but they sure picked up on Nancy Pelosi's husband. So sometimes it's not just the organizations, the NAACP. It's really problematic when these Republican, white owned, or whoever owned mass media, Channel 12, Mid Michigan Now, WNEM 5, M Live, when they don't cover the stories, that's why I say we're here doing these type stories
Absolutely.
because sometimes you can't get it out unless it's on the chitlin circuit.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going to cover. Gleason got convicted, and that happened with him for that marriage license, what, a week or so ago?
Yeah.
There's no way the mainstream media was going to go back, pull the tape up of Gleason illegally using his office to help Neely win by 100, 200 votes
Yeah.
this close to an election.
Right.
They formed a partnership. They kind of want him to win, in my opinion. I don't know if they believe Weaver's crowd is too black or some of us is whatever, but there's no way I believe that they would cover that story. We should have gathered around City Hall
We should have.
asking for
We should have.
Mr. Neely's resignation, highlighting the crookedness of him and Gleason.
We should have.
But it is what it is. We only got 24 hours in a day.
That's it. But I do think that we, as the residents of Flint, are not doing our due diligence to make sure that these things are being heard. And we're not being loud enough. You know, they say the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Oh, we ain't
That's what
squeaking
they
loud
used to
enough.
say in the UAW.
Yeah.
But I remember I held various positions elected and appointed in the UAW. And, you know, they talked all that union stuff. But when I ran for office in the first ward, my opponent was not a UAW member. They didn't reward me for all the service I had given in the UAW. They endorsed her and was out on the polls trying to beat me.
Wow.
And they didn't do it one time, they did it twice. So that's where I first heard that. And the UAW, squeaky wheels get the oil. And I've been squeaking ever since, but you know, it's a lot of hypocritism that goes on in this community.
I think that they hate to hear the truth from you so much that they just squeak a little louder. They pay other people, they get other people to squeak a little louder. And so my problem with that, and I've said this, Mickey can tell you, I've said this a million times. This was even before I even got to talk to you. I said a million times that they kill the message because of the messenger. I said they never get to. I said this a million times. They never get to listen to Eric Mays fully and hear what he says because they're killing the message just because of the messenger. And I think that's unfortunate. And I think it's a problem that we don't listen to the things that you have to say, or we don't get a chance to hear what you have to say because they're too busy shooting the messenger. So I'm glad that we do have this little chitlin circuit or whatever that we have here, however you want to call it, whatever
Rice
this
and
is.
beans.
Rice and beans, it's rice and beans, it's the rice
It's the
and beans.
rice and
It's the
beans
rice and
circuit.
beans circuit. Okay. Even if you want, however you want to spin it, whatever you want to call it, I think that it's important for us to be able to talk to us and for us to get the things that we need out to us. Because if they're not going to do it, we have to do it some type of way.
Yeah,
And even if it's
media.
absolutely, and even if it's just a couple thousand people, it's more than none because the other people are not saying anything.
Yeah,
So I
I've
appreciate
been in
you.
office for the last close to 10 years.
Hmm.
And so I know 100% that when I speak, some people listen.
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
100% from the calls that I get from around the country and from Flint that people listen. So whatever platform we use to articulate our position, so be it. Those who reject it, that's their business.
That's right.
Those who accept it and understand it, I say hallelujah. Because my goal is to tell the truth, try to make it plain for the average person to understand.
Yeah.
Whether they believe it or accept it, that's on them. But it's pretty much the truth uncut with no chaser.
It's pretty cut and dry, and I think that's one of the things that they don't like because they try to doctor it up and pretty and use bigger words and all these other things instead of saying it's A, B, and C. Then they want to dance around and put flowers on it and all this other
If we
stuff.
win this election next Tuesday with the Weaver, I
Because
bet
we
you it's
won't
gonna
Weaver.
be a whole lot of people getting quiet.
It's
I
gonna be a lot
mean,
of
when you look at these past two elections, um, we right there at the door.
we are.
The people that's left to go vote, if 2/3 of them vote Weaver and a third of them still ain't getting it and vote Neely, hey, we win.
That's right.
Who looking? How many people? Y'all know what's happening. Do we need to give some shout out to
Yeah, you
some of
want to
the
get some shots out?
messengers that's
Let's get
looking?
some
Yeah,
shots
listen.
out. Let's
We
get some
usually
shots
wait
out.
to the end,
Yeah, no, we
but
want to
we
get some
gotta see
shots out
what's
now.
happening.
Okay, we got Brenda Boyd in the building.
Hello.
We got Kathleen King.
All right, I know both of them.
We got Bolo Jackson.
I'm not really familiar,
We
but
got
shout out to Bolo.
we got my mom in
Your
here.
mom, out the third time I've heard
Yeah,
you say that. Hello,
absolutely.
Mama
We
to
got
Satara, Satara.
we got Demetrius Miller in there.
Mr.
That's
Miller.
Mick.
That's my
That's
auntie.
your auntie, right?
Okay,
Yep,
all right.
that's me.
Oh,
Then
Miss Miller.
we got
Did you-
Javion Miller.
All right.
And
Miller.
then we got the Millers in here. We got Becky Brown in
Becky
here.
Brown.
We got Precious Austin in here.
Precious.
Hey, Precious. We got Lorraine Lawson Thompson in
All
here.
right. Oh, I know who
You know who that is?
Yeah.
She said she's so happy you being able to talk tonight.
Yeah.
We got Sonya.
I'm gonna bust her out. That's them Darrell's auntie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Them
Okay.
Darrell's
All
auntie.
right.
She's sharp as a tack.
She good stuff.
She be watching them council meetings. She's sharp as a
She
tack.
comes on quite often. We appreciate you. We got Sonya Samakins in here. We
Sonya.
yeah.
Yeah,
We got Christine Brown in here.
Christine, I worked with her for many years on elections. We've been pretty successful on elections.
Yeah, we got Shardy in here.
Shiny.
Shardy Wagner. Hey y'all.
Yeah, so
hey y'all.
This is what I done learned about communication.
Tell.
We always look at communications as like Amway.
Yeah.
You sponsor 10 people, they sponsor 10 apiece. That's 100.
That's right.
And then if that 100 tell one of that 10 more, that's 1,000. So
So tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend to tell another friend to come on in and tune in, and y'all tag them and tune in. Yeah, y'all throw up Eric some likes and hearts. Y'all appreciate him being up here. Throw them up. Throw them hearts and likes up. Look at it.
Live interaction.
Real in here and Becky Bumble.
Hey,
They in on YouTube and they actually y'all talk about. I did tell her y'all talked about the firefighters.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see all them likes and hearts you got?
What I like about this is recorded and people can see it later.
They can go back and see
show throwing up some
it.
hearts
They
and likes.
They
So
throwing them
that's
up.
like
They throwing them up.
10
Woo!
people.
We love y'all.
If we reach 10 people
That's
and
right.
they tell 10 people,
Yeah.
that's 100.
That's 100.
And then if they tell 10 people, that's 1,000.
There you go.
You can win an election
like
like
that.
Amway.
That's right.
And I'm telling you, the people who you name, for the most part, I don't know all of them.
Yeah.
But the ones I do know is quality people.
All of these people are quality people.
Yeah, and I don't know all
I know,
of them.
but I know the other half of them. There you go. And
So
together we know that they're quality. They're good
is
stock.
correct.
We say
That's
y'all
the
good stock.
point.
We appreciate y'all so much. You good
Yeah,
stock.
because when you are in an election, remember I won mine by 6 votes. And they recounted, and when they recounted, I had won by 7.
Yeah.
And then the next year, the next election, rather, 4 years later, I won by 600-800.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a blowout.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that's what then happened over 3 years.
I hope so too.
Everybody got to have some good in them.
That's right.
But when I compare the work that's been done between the two in office that I've worked with, we had more substance. And we got more stuff done, and we had a better character of person, and I could make calls to department heads and get stuff done under Weaver more so than I've experienced under Neely. I've experienced a lot of
Hey,
deception
Jasmine, I see
and a
you.
lot
We
of
shouting
different.
you
So
out.
for the next week, it's important for me
Yeah,
to talk to people. I'm in a leadership
absolutely.
position.
Absolutely.
If I'm in a leadership position and I'm at City Hall, I would be wrong
Yeah,
to be quiet and not weigh in on this most important
absolutely.
competition.
Because we want Weaver, Weaver,
Weaver
and
and
more
more
Weaver.
Weaver.
We do.
And then we
do.
could run a better city. I had a guy call me today. I
Mhm.
don't know if he was on Boss or Laredo,
Okay.
but he had called me twice.
Mhm.
And I had called in a three-way, a department head, and it had to do with some blight, some trash,
Mhm.
and he didn't get it picked up. I want an administration where I can call folks. And if I don't get response, because most people don't know, a city council person can't order an employee to do something. We can represent, we
Yeah.
can advocate, we communicate. But the elected official in the mayor's seat can order. You could have a street crew working on Pearson Road, and the mayor could say, shut that down and go work on Welch. You can give orders. A council person can't give orders.
Oh.
You can ask, you can represent,
Oh.
but when you really understand the charter,
Mhm.
a lot of people give a council person more power on a day-to-day basis than what we really have.
Oh, wow.
Our power comes when we can get 5 people to vote to allocate money.
Yeah.
That's our greatest power. One of our greatest powers to do budgets, allocate money, put millions in the police department, millions in the street fund, allocate ARPA fund money to
Yeah.
residents and that type of thing. That's why as soon as this election is over, I'm gonna get busy trying to get rid of 2 or 3 council people
As you should.
and bring on
As
2 or 3
you
more
should.
good ones.
Now, what? Speaking of this ARPA money, now they done tossed your application out.
No, they haven't. I ain't
They
gonna
haven't.
let that happen.
Okay.
We got a stack of applications. As a
'Cause I
matter
heard-
of
'cause I
fact,
heard-
Ernst and Young just finished
They did.
vetting some of them
Okay.
to see how much money is in each category.
So,
And that tells you those applications are alive and well.
okay, because that's what I was getting ready to ask because
I'm gonna call
I
them
watched
request forms.
request forms.
The initial
Okay.
request
The
forms.
initial
That's what
request
they
forms
were
that
voted
you
on
had.
to be.
Absolutely. And then I was, when Lottie Ferguson came on and she was talking about the other, there was gonna be one live online, or you could come get one in person. And you asked, what about these stacks of folks here? She said, well, we've been through them to see how, where the money go. I'm like, how?
Well, I had
what are we
Ernst and Young. I had the $1 million firm go through them,
Yeah.
and then they brought back a summary and report. What I'm requesting and will request that each of those people who filled out that request form,
Mhm.
any additional application or paperwork, they get it sent to them.
Okay.
Okay, now what they're planning to do, they want to turn that process over to the Community Foundation, the Ruth Mott Foundation,
Oh.
and they want them to set up a 7 to 11 member committee to make recommendations to us. But under the charter that I read, you can't allow the Community Foundation and Ruth Mott to appoint people to a committee to deal with city business and money.
Yeah.
Under the charter, I would urge everybody to go look at what's called a multi-member body. The only persons who can appoint a multi-member body to take care of city business is the city council itself. And so when I looked at their proposal, I say that's kind of illegal. You can't have the Community Foundation and Ruth Mott
Why
Foundation.
would you even want that to happen?
I think it was a stall tactic. It's a political tactic in order to try to look like they're doing something professional in the middle of this election.
Okay.
You'll see the dam break wide open
Mm-hmm.
after this election is over. That's my political opinion,
Mm-hmm.
and I stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
If we win the election, we've already talked, you'll see a good process, and we'll start allocating these ARPA funds
Mm-hmm.
to residents in that state.
Mm-hmm.
If Neely wins the election, you'll see them try to proceed with the community foundation, Ruth Mott, and others trying to appoint this committee. And then you'll see me back arguing the legalities of whether that's a legitimate process. And so the election will determine the outcome of the allocation of these funds. It ain't too many times voters can vote their pocketbook. I'm urging voters in this election, if you want to vote your pocketbook and get direct benefits from these ARPA funds, vote Weaver, and more Weaver.
Mm-hmm.
And we can break these monies loose pretty much immediately. They've sat there for too long.
Lorraine asks, is the money just for low income or for everyone? It's for everybody.
Yeah, it's not just low income.
Mm-hmm.
These, I'm going to call it the COVID-19 money.
The COVID-19
The COVID-19 money is what I like to call it, because COVID-19 affected everyone.
Absolutely.
Low income, high income. And so what the parameters are, it can be allocated to individuals, homeowners. It can be allocated to nonprofit organizations, and it can be allocated to for-profit businesses. So the best way to understand it, let's call it the COVID-19 money, which can be allocated in a variety of creative ways.
Yeah, everybody got a little piece of the COVID money.
Should.
Yeah.
It should be. That's that $300 water credit. That was 8.6 million. The 16 million to the land bank. The 3 million or so that we just gave the Buick City project. When you look at 94 million and you look at a remaining amount, let's say the remaining amount is 70 something million. I want to see at least 12 to 20 million get directly into these households. Now, we need to use some of it in order to fix the police department. We need to use some of it to get some equipment and personnel to clean up. They call it blight. We've been calling it trash for years. So,
yeah.
I don't like
you that. Pretty word
somebody created the word blight, but you need some garbage trucks, some front end loaders, and some personnel to keep Flint clean.
Yeah.
And so we also got one major piece of money out of the COVID-19 money that we need to allocate. We're facing a $15 million budget deficit in the budget. We've got to plug that hole and fix it. When Weaver left office, we had a $24 million surplus.
Right.
And fund balance, they call it. In less than 3 years, Mr. Neely and them got us facing a $15 million deficit. So we have enough money to get it into people's households. We have enough money to fix the police department and the trash department, I'm gonna call it, they blight. And we have enough money to fix the deficit. And if we can get the right folk in place, that money could be dispersed yesterday. And if we do it right, at the rate they're going, that money could hit households before the water settlement. Every day somebody asks me, Mace, when we gonna get checks from the water settlement? I say, some of y'all ain't gonna like the size of the check you get, but they counting it up and added it. That was settled wrong. 5 previous council persons and Mr. Neely settled that wrong.
Sure did.
We had did a whole lot of work, Weaver, myself, and others, and lawyers had did a good job. and that settlement should have been 1.6 billion versus 600 million. And it never, ever, never, ever should have been $1,000 cap on grown folks. You put $1,000 cap after attorney fees, they'll get about $600-700, and that's when the reality gonna sink in that it was a bad settlement.
Absolutely.
And it was settled by some folks who wasn't involved in the fight.
Yeah. Will some folks get less, even less than that?
I don't think they'll get too much less than that, because you only had really two categories of folks. You had children, and then you had grown folks. Some people who didn't sign up will get less than that. They won't get nothing. But when you look at the two categories of folks, in my opinion, the best legal people that they could have dealt with was out on Flushing Road, Napoli and Skolnick. They had that thing that they scanned them with to see was there any lead in their bones. They could, that vehicle could help adults and or children get more than just the settlement terms provided. And so we'll wait to see. I predict you'll see some children who will have money put in a trust fund. It might be anywhere from 20 to 40 to 100,000. But their guardian, the parent, can in some cases draw down on it. And so we know that some Legionnaires' deaths will get 1.5 million, depending on the age of that person who died. But we know some Legionnaires' deaths will only get about 300,000. All deaths should have got the same amount of money, and it shouldn't have been $1,000 cap on adults with no medical documentation.
Do you think that they will put the verbiage in for the parents to draw off the money if they do?
That language is already part of the agreement. I've watched this settlement close, and if the parent expresses a need to help the child and that child is still a minor, I see opportunity that they will be able to draw on some of that money before the child reaches 18.
Wow.
Some children are already 18,
I was just going to say some of them grown,
and they'll be having money.
Yeah.
But you know, the highest money category for children was children who were 6 and under or so at that time. And so all of those categories and nuances 12, of the settlement is going to trip people out when it, turns into a reality. There's still an opportunity for some litigation with engineering firms and the federal government, the EPA, but we ain't close to seeing what that looks like.
Well, what else you got?
It's election time.
It's election time. Let's talk about the ballot.
I want to talk about who would be best for the residents of the city of Flint to get some of the stuff back on track.
Let's talk about it.
There's only one thing to say.
Weaver, and more Weaver.
I've worked with her.
Absolutely.
We got some stuff in line.
Yeah.
And so don't let nobody tell you the secondary water source, all that water activity. We had put that in place. The budget, we had got emergency managers out and returned it back to what they call home rule, a regular democracy. We had to get the emergency managers out. And then, excuse me, we were a more honest, trustworthy government. If you look at the Weaver administration, it was some allegations from the people who worked with the emergency manager. One of them was Natasha Henderson. It went all the way to federal court with a jury trial, and it was not guilty. So you had a lot of rumors spreading around. The COVID-19 money came 94 million directly to the city's bank account. Under the Weave administration, the 700 million or so, I estimate, it went different places. The Community Foundation, the United Way, all kind of different places. That money didn't come directly to our banking account.
Mm-hmm.
If you think back, this 8.6 million that gave $300 credit to each water customer during the Weave administration, we was able to leverage a $60 million credit on folks' water bills that came from the state. So everywhere I turn,
Mm-hmm.
and I can go into more nuances, we had to make a decision on the distribution of water. We had to make decisions on what we would spend millions of dollars for as it relates to a new water plant, the supply of water for 30 years. Everywhere I turn, we made more serious decisions. And under the Weave administration, the last 3 years of the Neely administration, I guess his record and claim to fame would be the ceremonial keys given out, the statute of Floyd McCree. Um, he wants to take credit for the Buick City project that just ain't even complete yet. But I think that was going to happen because of the land.
A lot of folks that want to take credit for stuff. You got folks who want to say they started Lear, they got brought Lear.
Well, you talking about one where they was on them social media saying he brought Lear. Look,
he came to the council meeting to say it
I've
too.
been involved. I remember with the Lear project, I've been involved in a variety of those projects, but I can't say that any one person was responsible for any of them.
Understood.
It's a lot of things that go into play, even when the mayor is approached by certain people. Then it takes a vote of the council.
Yeah.
When the mayor is approached, certain people on the council is approached. So when you hear a person try to take credit, even under the Weave administration, I remember sitting at a long table.
I was just getting ready to say,
governors, Mayor Weaver,
absolutely,
all county commissioners. So when you hear a politician say, that's a self-centered politician.
Absolutely.
That's a self-serving politician. When you hear a politician say we and give credit to all of those, that's a more honest politician.
Well, because when you sit at the table making deals like that, it's definitely not a one-on-one. No, I've been at enough tables. Never. It's a long table. That boardroom full of folks.
Yeah, see, you gotta understand. Yeah. There's some people who was looking out for themselves and their family, and that's okay. But really, what you want to do is serve the community.
Yeah.
You want to be more we than I, and you want to be able to give everybody around you credit. And once you get in the habit of giving folks credit, then I think you'll have a longer life.
Well, you can't spell Weaver without we.
There you go. Well, we've done well.
See, that's all
I'm saying.
we
can continue to do well.
Yeah.
But the person in leadership needs to have character.
Yeah.
Needs to be honest.
Yeah.
And need to be able to communicate and be true.
Yeah.
You can't get nowhere calling council people insurrectionists and double talking, talking about we won Flint, but then you're talking about these people and telling people to be careful of, folks like me who trying to tell the truth on you.
Yeah.
You can't lie about
they try
your education and degree. I wouldn't sit here at the top of the hour, I'm gonna say, and talk about Michigan State and sports and BJ knowing that ain't true.
And you ain't never been there.
I've got a degree in political science, pre-law from Michigan State. It's true.
Yeah.
You can't get caught fooling people over and over
That's true.
The election, you came in wrong.
Mhm.
You and Gleason cheated.
Yeah.
Y'all was crooked. He done paid his dues, and you still trying to ride this gravy train
Mhm.
for yourself. And so we'll see if one day, hopefully next Tuesday, but it's
Absolutely.
a lot of people. How many people you think gonna go vote Tuesday to the polls? You think it'll be over 3, 4, 5,000?
I'm praying that it will be.
3, 4, 5,000. If 2, 3 of them thousand, let's say it's 5,000,
Yeah.
and 3,000 vote Weave and
Yeah.
2,000 vote Neely, she wins.
That's a win.
What if it's 4,000? 1,500
1,500
vote Neely, 2,500 vote
Yeah.
Weaver.
That's
She
a win.
win.
We
What
just
if it's
trying to get the dub out here, right? We trying to get the dub. Y'all got to
I
about
think
vote.
if it come down to the people who
Yeah.
gonna go to the poll.
Yeah.
Now, do you think I voted absentee or am I going to the poll?
I saw your absentee ballot.
I lost my absentee
You lost
ballot.
it?
Yeah, because I was
Oh,
headed.
hell. I hope y'all ain't pick it up.
What you think? Am I gonna find it before election day? What you think gonna happen?
If you don't find it before then, I know you're gonna hit that poll.
How do that work?
How work? You gonna go out there and you gonna vote.
Well,
and you gonna get your ballot, right? You gonna get your ballot and down in
an
there.
absentee ballot. My point was, you can sign
Sign
a
up.
sworn affidavit
Yeah.
saying you lost your absentee
There you
and they'll reissue you a ballot.
Are you okay? Yeah. So
now,
are you?
You
now,
don't
if
think
you don't
nobody found my ballot and voted for me and signed my name? It ain't gonna look like my name if they sign.
It won't. But I'm telling, if they touch
Maybe
it, they go into jail.
Maybe it's in my car somewhere. If we catch it,
They gonna go to jail.
it's a felony.
Y'all better not have it in your hand. That's all I'm saying.
So you think I'm gonna be able to vote?
Absolutely.
I know I'm gonna
Absolutely, you gonna be able to vote.
What if they say, Mays, you have absentee ballots, you can't vote? You gonna think I'm gonna go to jail and just say, oh, okay.
You gonna say, give me my form so I can sign.
Who I'm gonna vote for?
Weaver, and more Weaver.
So, if people misplace their absentee, you can still vote. You can go to City Hall now, or you can wait and go to the poll, sign an affidavit. Each polling place should have one. I lost my absentee. You sign it, they'll issue you another one.
There you go.
And so there's no reason for people not to vote.
Absolutely, it's not. There's no reason for people not to vote, regardless if you lost it or you got an absentee or not. There is no reason for you not to vote. And right now, it's so important. This is the time, really. This election is so important that you really need to. It's so many things that's in place, so many things that need to be in place, and the reason why you should. So there is absolutely no reason for the ignorance and not to vote.
Yeah, you got school board members on there. You got proposals. You got judges.
Absolutely.
And then you got Democrats from governor down to Congress.
Yeah.
But now, what am I concentrating on? What you think is most important on that ballot to me?
The mayor's race.
It's going to be found on the front page, the bottom right-hand corner. And it's going to be two names. Who I'm hoping people vote for. Weaver, and more Weaver. But they only vote once now.
Make sure you don't make an X in it. Make sure you circle that box in real nice and dark.
Darken it in.
That's right. Nice and dark.
I want to do this again. How many people, let's say 8,000, 9,000 absentee.
Okay.
How many people you think gonna go to the poll on election day? Is it gonna be more than 4,000 or less than 4,000? That's what we do in sports. We say the over and under.
Yeah.
So let's go with 4,000 going to the poll. Is it over or under?
I want it to be over.
I think it's gonna be over.
I want it to be over.
So let's say it's 5,000 people who go to the poll.
All right.
Out of them 5,000, how many do Weaver need going to the poll? 3,000, 3,500. What if it's 6,000 or 7,000 go to the poll?
If it's 7,000, she need 50. Yeah, I was
So,
going to say she need 55.
Do you think the election, even though people voted absentee early, a lot of them done voted, we don't know what they look like.
That's true.
We don't know what it is.
That's true.
You think that this election still can be won at the poll?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So whoever get the most votes at the polls gonna win it.
Weaver, Weaver, and more Weaver.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity talking with you on
Yeah.
these Tuesdays. I missed last Tuesday.
That's
You
right.
know where I was at, though.
Uh-huh.
I went to this studio in Detroit,
Uh-huh.
the Word Network.
Yeah.
This guy, Bankerlay, I think his last
Banker.
name Thompson. Yeah, he be
Okay.
on 9:10 a.m.
Oh, okay.
And he used to come on right after Sam Riddle and
Mhm.
right after Weaver and them. And so Bankerlay called Dr. Weaver and she put him in touch with me. So I was in the studio. I was on the TV show on
Oh,
the Word
shucks, check you
Network
out.
and we recorded that.
Hmm.
And it was Tuesday. I had forgot about this. Guess
Yeah.
where I went to? You know
I know
already.
where you went to.
I went to the MGM Casino. When you called me, it was 5 o'clock. And I
Guess what he
know
was doing? He was sitting on the balcony with his legs crossed, drinking on a lemonade.
drinking the lemonade. See, I just took a break. I lost $160
Ah,
on the slot machine. I
yeah.
came back
Oh,
at
you like
about
that one-eyed
1:30.
bandit? That what you like?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I had enough to play blackjack
Okay.
or nothing like that.
Understood.
That's kind of scary,
Yeah.
losing 15 and $25.
Yeah.
I had would put a 20 in the slot machine.
Yeah.
I was able to build it up to 30 and take it
Take
out.
it out.
Build it up to
Uh-huh.
30 and take it
That
out.
what
But
you
then
gotta
guess
do.
what?
Huh?
They caught me
She got you.
about 4, 5 times. I put that 20
That
in
20.
and couldn't pull nothing out. And they had me where I'm going to try it again.
Uh-huh.
And they caught me when I come back.
You get good to you
Flint.
sometimes.
Out of that $160, I think I had about, I might not even had $8. And right there, Mickey, you laugh.
You
Don't
got
be
laugh at
laughing.
it.
And look, I'm coming down that narrow part
Uh-huh.
up by what is it? 10 Mile.
Uh-huh.
And man, it's raining. I'm driving like an old lady or something, but I don't care. The big truck was passing me.
Yeah.
I was like Dorothy, no place like home. No place like home. I'm ready to get home.
You was ready to get up out of there.
Man, when I got back in my driveway, I was like, thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was glad,
Yeah.
man. It ain't the same for me on the highways when I was young.
I understand. It ain't the same for me either.
Yeah, I like being at home.
I do too.
So I was glad to get home.
Yeah.
But I say, man, I knew I could have doubled that $160. Couldn't double that.
Yeah.
So I apologize. I went to Bankerlay.
Mm-hmm.
I said, listen, I'm so close to Detroit at 10
I
miles.
might as well gonna try my
So
luck.
when you call, I was, I forgot about Tuesday.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to try to make it back in an hour.
No,
So here we are today.
That's
I'm
all right.
glad you had me again.
Absolutely. We try to shoot one more time before we get on in there. We could try one more time for the one time.
Election day is next Tuesday.
Election day is next Tuesday.
We ain't gonna stop on them polls and come in here at 6. You coming?
No, we gonna be live out there.
I'm gonna be on the. I'm gonna probably be on the poll
You gonna be on
in the first ward. I spend a lot of time in the polls in the first ward.
Oh, that's where you're gonna be. I'm gonna come in and sit with you and be live.
There you go. You hear that?
I'm gonna come in and sit with you and be live.
We gonna go live.
We got Brownhill, Gondry, Faith Temple.
Yeah.
But my ward done changed a little bit.
Yes,
I
it
done
has.
crossed Pearson Road and picked up people on Cherry Line and Nib and Green Line. So I'm meeting new first ward.
They probably like that too, huh?
Some of them do. Yeah, some of them that I lost on
I know they not happy. I know they
They
not
say,
happy.
May, I say, hey, they redraw the lines every 10 years. So I'm going to be trying to encourage people all across the city, not just in the first ward, but in the second ward, the fifth ward. Because when I look at these elections, I don't care what they say, those wards, predominantly black, going to affect the outcome of this election.
Yeah.
I see it as plain as day. I don't know what the people that voted already absentee, but I don't think it's a coincidence that in 2 elections, Weaver was that close to Neely.
No.
I think that that's a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be close again.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that the people who go out and vote on election day,
they're going to push
really
over there.
can make a difference.
There you go.
I want them to vote Weaver,
Weaver,
and
more.
It's going to make us have a better operation downtown.
Absolutely.
I put my political reputation on it. If people are undecided,
Yeah.
if they don't know, if they really don't know, trust me. I'm in my 10th year down there.
Mm-hmm.
I done seen 3 or so mayors come and go. I done seen council people come and go. If right now in 2022, I'm a common fixture,
Absolutely.
then believe me, I know who we can work best with and help get the city moving. And I think people will be pleasantly surprised to see the work that would be done in the first 6 months. Because I know what hasn't been done. I know what we can do. And I've dealt with both sides. And man, it'll be a blessing to do this honestly, truthfully, and demonstrate to the people
some integrity.
Yeah, and I just wish I had a magic wand to make people believe and trust what's being said.
Well, they don't need a magic wand if they just get on out and do it, huh? Hey,
Yeah,
listen, because it would behoove for all of you that like those big old words. It would behoove you.
Behoove?
Yes, it would behoove you.
It would behoove.
It would behoove you
Well,
to vote Weaver.
I looked at former President Obama. He's been going around the country campaigning, and he'll say something, and they'll make a sound, or he say, "No, vote."
Vote.
So that's what we got going in Flint. You ain't got to complain. You ain't got to whine. You ain't got to hope.
Vote.
Vote.
Yeah.
Vote. It can make a difference.
And try it and see. It can't be no worse than what you got right now. I'll tell you that right now. Can't be worse than that.
I already know what voting can do.
I do
if
too.
We vote correct.
And I'm telling you, try it and see. Because it cannot be worse than what it is right now. See, it's always the darkest before the dawn. And y'all think it's dark right now, so come on, bring some sunlight to it. I'm telling you, Vote Weaver. She is the best choice.
So,
not the best out of the two.
How much time?
Not like that. She is the best choice.
How much time we got left? Is we over our time?
Yeah, we've been over.
Oh, we've been over?
Yeah.
And I didn't even go into my preacher's voice.
You need to preach? Well, preacher.
No, all I'm saying is that
preacher.
sometimes
speak a word.
When we sit here and we talk politics, we a week before the election.
Okay.
And next Tuesday this time, the polls will be open. And I believe.
Yeah.
I believe that we need to do this thing right.
Say it.
I know that if you have the faith, the grind, the size of a mustard seed,
that's all.
And you take your souls to the polls, we can make a change in the city of Flint. Now, I don't play with religion
at all,
but I know sometimes people understand it better when you kind of spice it up. I don't know if I'm gonna go to hooping in this political speech, but I am gonna encourage people to get out and vote. And when you get out and vote in this election, I hope you do what I'm asking.
Do what you ask.
I hope you'll do what your soul feels is right. I hope your soul feel Weaver, and more Weaver.
Y'all don't leave before the benediction. You always get your spirit fed before, and when you stay for the benediction, that's what you got. My pastor always say that. Don't leave for the benediction.
And that goes something like, may the Lord watch
between me
and one for another. I know it's got something to
Yeah.
do until we meet again. But you know, my daddy was
Yeah.
a preacher,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of
While we
real
absent one from
religious.
another, that's what it
I
is.
might laugh and joke, but
Mhm.
when it come down to getting on my knees and praying
Absolutely.
and saving my soul,
Yeah,
that's
that's
way more important
absolutely.
than
And listen,
politics.
and just like being in church, and you know they said you got to know Jesus for your own self. I need you all to go out and vote for your own self and make sure you're doing the right thing when you vote. Vote Weaver. You can't listen. You can't spell Weaver without we.
It
Right?
sure helped me.
That's all I'm saying. And that's what we need. And you want to see Flint move forward. You want to see it progress. You want to see it back to the way it was when it was great, when you all thought it was great, then vote Weaver. You all want to see it be greater and greater and greater, vote Weaver. Because that's the direction that it's going if you put her in the seat. And that's what she wants it to be. She lives here. She's not one of those ones that don't live here and don't care about the people. She has the heart and the compassion for the people. So please vote Dr. Karen Weaver when you are out and you are voting.
Yeah, I think our policies would be less selfish and more for us.
That's right.
You know, some politicians is more self-centered,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think we will be better off
We
because I
definitely
think she
will.
eager to get some of this stuff moving. I'm
Absolutely.
talking to her, I can see it, I can feel it,
Mm-hmm.
and so if we can pull this off,
Absolutely.
tell somebody, take somebody,
All
if
of that.
you with us, make it happen.
Absolutely.
I think it can be done on election day. I think it's
Absolutely.
gonna be 4, 5, 6,000 people
I
vote
pray that it
going
is.
to the polls.
I pray that it is. And I just encourage you all to get out and vote. If you have not voted, had your absentee ballot and voted absentee, then I encourage you. I encourage you. I encourage you. I strongly encourage you to get out and vote. Please take somebody with you. Call somebody, remind somebody, get up early and go. Even if you gotta go in late. The polls don't close until 8, right?
Yeah, what if I lost my absentee? Oh, you think I'm gonna vote?
Yeah, absolutely. If you lost your absentee ballot, then make sure that you are asking for an affidavit and sign the
Yeah.
affidavit so that they can give you another one. They will give you another ballot, so make sure that you do that. But just do it. Like Nike, just do it. It would be You would be doing a disservice to your city, to yourself, to your children, to your grandchildren, to everybody if you do not vote.
Let's do the over and under one more time
Over and
before
under.
we go.
All right, let's do it.
In the
Me?
last election, it was 14, 15,000 people vote.
14,
I'm
15,000.
predicting more than 50.
You predicted
Now,
15?
we're going to
Okay.
put the over and under at 20,000.
At 20?
Will
Okay.
it be over or under 20,000?
I want to go over. I'm going to say over. Mick, where
I'm
you
gonna
at?
say under.
You going to say under?
Yeah,
You say it's going to be under 20,000?
in the city of Flint.
In the city
What
of
you
Flint?
think, over or under?
I want it to be over. I'm gonna be optimistic. I'm gonna say over.
So you think over 20,000
I'm gonna say
above?
over 20.
That'll be 5,000 or more than the last mayor's election. That could
I'm
make
over.
it very interesting.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking it's gonna be more like 16,
16,
17,000,
17.
and that ain't good.
No.
That leaves another 20,000 or more who could vote.
Mick, where do you think it's at?
Over.
I'm gonna go over.
You going both of y'all going over? Y'all
Yeah.
leaving the little politician out here by myself.
No, we ain't leaving you out there. We'll never
Two
leave you out there.
overs
Listen.
and one under.
Listen, we being
We gonna
optimistic.
find
We got
out
to
on
do it.
Tuesday.
We're going to find out on Tuesday,
You
November
sure?
8th. Tuesday, November 8th. Get out and vote. What time the polls open?
7 a.m. to
That's
8
right,
p.m.
to 8 p.m. 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So you
Man,
have,
I should bet you a Milky Way and him a Snickers. I want to lose this bet.
you want to lose?
Yeah, I
What you
want
want to bet? Let's do it. Hey, listen, I'm a betting woman.
Okay,
I'll
I'm
bet.
gonna go a Milky Way.
You
if
gonna bet?
I win.
You want a Milky Way?
Nah,
If you win?
I'm gonna do you one better.
What you want?
Your papaya juice.
Papaya
Oh,
juice.
I got
okay.
some papaya
That's
juice.
what
Look
I'm
at that.
thinking.
Look at that. You want a
So
papaya
now what
juice?
about y'all
Okay,
win?
and you want a Milky Way?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna
And I
buy
got
a
a
bag
papaya.
of Milky Ways.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now what if y'all win? What I gotta get you?
You know, I'm a hot tamale
Hot
type girl, so
tamale.
you know what?
Me,
Brother, just do a show with me.
do a show
There you
with.
go.
All right. Well,
We'll come back on and we'll talk about
it's
it.
on. It's
Yeah,
on. We'll
it's
get
on.
to the bottom of it. I want to
Absolutely.
lose this bet. Get out and
Absolutely.
vote.
Get out and vote, y'all.
The
So
over
listen,
and under.
the over and under. So listen, we
20,000.
got a bet on the line. We got a bet on the line. So now y'all really got to vote. Because we got a bet on the line. So tell a friend and tell a friend and tell another friend and tell 10 more friends to get out and vote. Y'all make sure that you get up. Go get somebody. Get up
You
early.
sure pumping that over on
That's
me.
what I'm just saying.
You
Come on
sure
now.
want them hot tamales.
Woo! Y'all know
can
I love them hot
taste that
tamales.
Milky Way.
You
You
can
know
taste it.
people.
Boy,
Man,
I can
hope
taste
I
them hot
lose.
tamales. I hope you do too.
All right.
I want my hot tamales, y'all.
We gonna see what happens.
Yeah.
So y'all make sure you get out and vote. November 8th, please get out and vote. Go to the polls. Hey, First Ward, get out to the polls and go out and see your main man, Eric Mays. Get out to the polls. We're gonna be out there somewhere. I'm probably gonna have a camera and y'all can get on the show with me right fast. So make sure, tell me where you at. I'll come pull up on you. You can hop on real quick. Tell me where you voting at. I'll come out. Me and Mickey. Mick, we out. Mick,
Yeah,
we gonna get in the truck. We gonna
Yes,
go
ma'am.
out.
We
And
out.
where they tell us they at, we gonna go and we gonna talk to them.
We there.
All right. Y'all take it easy.